Congratulations on completing your certification with Learn Photography Company. It's awesome to have gotten to know you, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next little bit. And that you've got all these supporters behind you. So how many people in the room? Give us a full glimpse of all the people that are there. I'm going to wave at them. That's awesome. I love it. Very cool.
We have 15 of us.
Sweet. I love it. As I've come to know you, just to set this up, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk through a little bit of your portfolio just to showcase the images that you've created and give you some of my comments on them, to show your friends and your family the awesome things that you started to grow with. And I love the little girl behind you. What's her name?
That's Ash.
She's a cutie. Hi, Ash. Hello, Ash.
Can you say hello?
Hi. That's awesome. And that's the way that we're going to celebrate. So, but I just want to say this, and for the people that are in the background and there to support you, as I've come to know Caitlin, she's one special lady. And the two words that I would use to describe her are definitely determined. And she has set a school record for the number of photos that has been posted after each particular assignment. So when I gave her an assignment, she was like, on it. And it was like 2,422 photos. Here you go. And so she set a record. You are the record holder for number of images posted for an assignment. And then just your curiosity. Like, I love your sense of curiosity and your sense for life. And it's amazing. And you know what? You and I both know, and the people in the room should know, that when you're a photographer, you never stop growing. So as we look through your portfolio, I'm going to talk about what I loved. And in a couple cases, I'll nudge you and say, here are the things constructively that you can grow your images on. But I'm just so proud of you. And it's been great to work with you. And so I'm going to share the screen here. And let's go. Okay, we're going to share the entire screen. Share. Oh, pick that. There we go. And I'm going to turn this on. And I'm hoping that you can see certification portfolio assessment for Caitlin celebration today. And so, you know what? On the cover, I put this image of the greenhouse because as I've gotten to know you, and gotten to know your family, I just think it's really kind of representative and a metaphor for the awesomeness that is your family. I think you've got a family and friends. Much like this greenhouse in the midst of a winter storm, it's created an environment for you to blossom and grow. And so kudos to your parents, kudos to your grandpa, kudos to your family and your friends. To me, this image represents Caitlin because you've blossomed and you grew, and you've done it despite challenges, and you've overcome to do those things. And I think it's absolutely amazing. So we're going to come back to this image and talk about the image itself. But I really thought that, this is who Caitlin is. It's just a representative of who you are. So we're just going to go through and look at some of the images that you posted. I love this one. Now, Caitlin has taught me a lot about birds and animals. I'm not a birder or animal person per se. I'm a people photographer. So often I would struggle naming stuff, but Caitlin was right there, so it was great. This is kind of you as well because of the curiosity that's expressed here. I love how the tongue is hanging out of their particular mouth, and the frame of the branches and the green leaves and just the brightness and the exposure. It's just fun, and Caitlin's fun. And yeah, just the way that the log, the tree, you've got this branch or the stick that's coming down, all frames, and just the perfect moment for kind of capturing the playfulness of this animal. And so as I appreciate you for being curious. This is a picture about curiosity, and it's well exposed. It's really well done. And this is cool as well. So, family, I want to congratulate you. Caitlin's probably one of the biggest travelers we've ever had. So almost every second weekend, she's gone somewhere. And so her travel photos are amazing, and we live vicariously through her travels, through all the things that she's done. Where's this, Caitlin? Where is this bridge again?
That's in Branson, Missouri.
Ah, cool. I love the textures, the rocky versus the tree texture, which is really kind of cool. And the bridge just kind of divides it. I love how the shadows form a vignette and take you right into the picture. It's nice and crisp and sharp. I love the lines that are formed by this bridge. The only suggestion for improvement, and it's not even for me, but it's a little bit, I would straighten it just a little bit. I put it in Lightroom and just straighten it a little bit in terms of the bridge, but it's an awesome image. I love it. It captures the moment. I love the fact that it's a little thing in taking pictures, but not everybody knows to do it, and you did it. You put this rock in the front right-hand corner, and that's sort of an object that kind of sets the scene and gives perspective for everything else, and it just makes it a wonderful picture. So congratulations on that. I really love that. This church is magnificent. I think this is just really cool. And, congratulations on exposing it, because the top part is a lot lighter than the bottom part, but you've kind of hit the exposure right so that we get the details of the walls and the pews and all of that. And the top is not too bright. Like, the exposure is really, really nice. And so you get the detail of the photo. I think the biggest thing that you did here that works really well is I think you're kind of shooting a little bit up. And so to a positive, I really feel like that dome just kind of like comes up on top of me, and I'm really part of this church. The last thing that I kind of noticed is, it's almost like a metaphor, right? It's, I don't mind the people being in the pews. A lot of people would just wait for the church to be empty or ask people to leave, but I think that's kind of a cool metaphor of people rediscovering their faith, if you wanted to use it as such. But where is this church, Caitlin?
That one is in Iowa.
Sweet, love it. Do you know when it was built? How old is it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always marvel at buildings like this, especially when they're like hundreds of years old, and you think about how they built them without the aid of modern technology and forklifts and bulldozers, and just incredible. And I could imagine that the music in this place would be incredible as well. That pipe organ looks absolutely awesome. But I love the way you frame this. The fact that you went portrait, it is a portrait shot. The fact that you're shooting up, the roof comes on top, the exposure is right, it's nice and crisp and clear. It makes me feel like I'm there, and so that's just, yeah, it's awesome. And so Caitlin would play. Now this one's easy because Caitlin would play games with me every single week. She would hide birds in photos. So I came to ask her, there's not a bird in this photo, right? And she'd go, yes, there is. And then I'd have to go look for it. You can't miss the bird in this one. And this is just beauty and simplicity, right? The white versus the dark, the reflection is beautiful. It's sleeping, right? And that's why it's in that pose. Yeah, it's just fast asleep. And what I love about it too is that your exposure, it's a nice contrast between the white and the dark, but it's not too dark that you still get some of the texture of the reflections coming in on the other side of the river, and adds a little bit of interest without necessarily distracting from the image. And so I just think that's really cool. This would be a great computer wallpaper, display wallpaper, because icons would show up easily on it. And every image has a different purpose. You could print it, put it up on the wall too, but it's beautiful. This is probably, I would call, your most magical in some ways image. I love this. Where's this?
Holland, Michigan.
Okay, go Michigan. For those of you in the room, I used to live in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, which is right across from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. So I've been in your beautiful state many times, and it is awesome. Like the way that like the white of the snow and then the white of the clouds and then that deep blue. I love blue. It's my favorite color. It just kind of pulls, it sucks you into. It's like you're on a sled, a snowmobile going 100 miles an hour. Like he just drives you to the horizon. Like it forms this awesome sort of frame that you've captured in there. And again, it's little things in photos, but you knew enough, Caitlin, to include a little bit of the hills, the greenery, the earth, the ground, to give this picture some perspective and grounding on the right-hand side. This is super dynamic, like super dynamic. Now, did you have to edit some of that blue in the sky, or was it truly Michigan blue?
It was pretty blue.
That's Michigan blue. I
Yep.
like it. I love it. Amazing. What time of day was that?
Mid to late afternoon.
Okay. Spectacular. Like again, and images have different uses, but it's something that this could be display wallpaper. It could be a number of different things. And we're going to talk about, Caitlin, just reaffirming for everyone to hear, what's next for you. And so, Caitlin, I was really happy to hear when you did like a market last year that you're really successful at selling cards. You sold, you sold quite a bit at that particular marketplace. And your travel shots and a lot of your images like this on postcards or different things, I think will continue to sell really, really, really well. As you represent your region, you give them your perspective of it. Through your eyes of curiosity and determination. I think it's really cool. I love, it's one of my favorites of the images that we're going to look at. This is really cool too. I love this sort of structure. Like I've always wanted a log cabin. I think that would be awesome. And so when I see this, it's like, I don't know what the inside looks like. Maybe I wouldn't want to stay there for the weekend, but if the inside was half decent, this would be a place that for a VRBO or whatever that you rent out, you just have a blast with your family because it just brings you back. What's cool about this picture in terms of what you did is you took the building at an angle. If you had just stood right straight in front of it, it'd be flat. But you took it at an angle, and so it creates some motion in the photo. It creates some just visual interest. It makes your eyes take in the whole photo. And while you're shooting the building at an angle, we talked about straightening another photo. You don't need to do that here because this green grass is almost like the straightening agent. It's a straight line across, and it really sets up a great foundation, and it's really good. I like the frame, all the important parts of the image. The right-hand side, you're cutting it off right at the brick here, left-hand side at the gate there with a little view into the yard that's over there. This is amazing. Is this part of your property, or where is this?
No, that's in Pennsylvania.
That's in Pennsylvania. Oh, that makes sense. That's a gorgeous state as well. Driving through there, I just remember realizing the only way that I'd realized there was a town coming up instead of the windy, beautiful roads of forest was that there was a church steeple or something that would come up through the trees. And then you'd know, okay, there's a city coming up. And that's just phenomenal. Love this picture. Is that a parrot or what bird is that?
It's a parakeet.
A parakeet.
Yep.
Again, simple but awesome because it's super colorful and the background's subdued, and so that contrast makes the bird stand out. You've used the rule of thirds. You didn't put it right in the center. You put it a little bit to the left and to the top, which gives it any sort of portrait. What's really key, and this is something that I'm proud of you that you've worked on and improved on, is just a better consistency of really getting sharp eyes. And so the eyes of this parakeet are really super sharp, and it just lets you feel good about this particular image. If you love parakeets or you just want to punch a color in your day, man, this dude's got it, or this lady's got it, and it's a great frame. I love how you cut off a little bit of the post, left it in there, and the contrast, like I said, the background and the colorful nature of this bird just makes it really, really kind of cool. This is your Moody shot. And I love it. Now, remind me again where this is.
That's in Branson.
Okay. And is that, I assume that is an Indian on the horse?
Yep.
Okay, so Aboriginal or Native American. Again, you've got a natural frame, so I love the way that you framed it in terms of the darkness up on top in the sky became a darker reflection in the water, which leaves, and it takes you that's almost like an Oreo cookie. It takes you right into the middle of the picture, which is where that beautiful statue is, and then the mirrored reflection is really powerful. And it's kind of cool, even in the way that, this the person on the horse is kind of bent over. It's like he's trying to fit into that wedge of light. And it's just got this really reflective sort of mood to it that's really kind of cool. And as he bends down, it kind of like it even takes you into the river valley and the horizon back in the thing. Normally, when we do photography for landscapes, we say put the horizon in the top third or the bottom third. But because you've got a reflection, it really works here. And I think it's like timeless classic. It's just a really nice photo. Another church, different sort of setting. We've gone from old, it's not Gothic. You've got Gothic coming up, but old Catholic almost sort of style, artistry and grandeur of a church to your country church with the wooden walls and the wooden pews. The biggest kudos in this picture. For those that are sitting there, the hardest thing to do when you're shooting inside is actually not have the windows go white. Because if you want to make the inside bright enough to look okay, then a lot of times what happens is the inside looks good, but the windows are white and you don't get really the true feel of what it's like to be in that building. But because what Caitlin's done here is balance the exposure between the inside and still kept a view of the outside, we really feel like I'm there. Like I feel like I'm there. And that's a credit to you and how you took this photo. I love the symmetry of chandeliers and it leads you to the fish. I am hesitant to put one of those in my car because that would be too high of a standard. It's like, careful if you put one of these on your car, because then it holds you to a higher standard. I usually am, but every once in a while. But it's great. The only thing I would do with this picture again is a little bit of straightening. It's a little bit left leaning, and I would straighten it a little bit. Post edit, I might take the interior and lighten it a touch just to bring a little bit more texture of the pews that are there out. But that's a post-edit thing. The way you shot this, exceptional. Like most people would white out the windows and you didn't white out the windows. I feel like I'm there. And that's a real credit to you. And so good work, Caitlin. Simple. White versus the blue. Sometimes with whites, you want to get it bright enough or you want to make it white, so you actually blow out the whites. But what you've done here is really good because your exposure is spot on. And so we get the texture of the feathers and the texture of the bird. Love this image. The bird is a little bit off center to the right-hand side. You know what? The only point of improvement, I might actually, there's two things, and they might sound like they contradict each other, but I don't think they do. I love the fact that you didn't feel the need to include the whole bird. Sometimes less is more, and the fact that you've just kind of, from the butt up, it really makes the face of the bird and the upper body of the bird the star of this photo. And then on this side, I would add just a little bit more a space. The beak's kind of going off of, and that is one thing that I think if you just had a little bit more space, it would, take a great photo and make it super fragilistically cool. But again, this is when it's simple, nailing the sharpness, the eyes are sharp, getting the exposure right so the texture stands out, makes people appreciate the bird, and you did a phenomenal job. Flowers. You have lots of them. And this is another great shot. When you blur out the background, it's called shallow depth of field for your friends and family that are there. And that contrast is really kind of cool in this picture because this main flower is still the main flower. the background, you still get the tie-in. When you've got the pink in the front and the pink in the back, it kind of ties the image all together. But because Caitlin has used shallow depth of field on her camera, it's really, that contrast still makes this the star without this being too distracting. It gives perspective, but makes it the star. It's vibrant, the exposure's right.